the backyard machine shop. Well, back on the Pratt and Whitney lathe again. We've got several pieces ready to go put back together. Got several pieces still out there being cleaned and painted. So we're going to go ahead and start assembling some of the stuff. And the first thing we're going to assemble is a quick change gearbox. I think I have everything sitting here. Anyway, we're going to go at it. One of the things to note that, remember we had broken this pin off. I had the pin, I broke it off, so it wasn't something that happened in the past. It had broke off, but what I did is I took and drilled it, tapped it, and just bolted it, screwed it back in. So got all our pins back in. All right, so what we got here is we got a piece of cardboard, and we're going to start assembling this thing. And I'm going to get the cameras, and I'm going to move you in a little closer, and we're going to go at it. All right, so hold on. 3, 2, 1, go. All right, guys. So if you remember, we had broken this pin off, and I think this stuff's just cast. Some kind of a cast iron, or some kind of a cast anyway, but it wasn't really too bad. I drilled and tapped it, I put it back in, and I bolted it from the back side, and you'll see that later. But anyway, we have all the pins back in place. Some of them are still taped up from the paint, and we got to take that off. So how we're going to get started here is we're going to flip this thing over on its front here, very gently. All right, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's the bolt that's holding it in. All right, guys. So the first thing we have to do now, I haven't painted the inside of this thing, so it wasn't painted to start with, and so I just didn't repaint it. So we have to put our gears together. Now our gear sets. The first gear to go in will be this gear here. Anyway, here, we'll stack our gears up into order to go in. And they all have to be turned a certain way. Sure I get them right. All right, so our first gear to go in, and what we want to do is, if you may not see it or not, but if you look down that gear, there's one side that's offset slightly, has a little more meat in there. So the way we're going to put this together, that side is going to be to the next gear, so that's going to keep your spacing in the gear. All right, clean it up real good, make sure you're doing grit. And here's our shaft, and there's a keyway that runs along this shaft. Now, when I took this apart, I dinged up the keyway a little bit, so I've had to come in here and file, fit everything. So I've fitted everything, and I hope it'll go together good. The gear goes in this way. The shaft goes in this way. Okay, and so the first gear, what we're going to do is we're going to oil the shaft real good, especially around this keyway. Okay, and then we're going to oil. Now I've taken all these gears and I've cleaned up the boards a little bit, just with some Scotch-Brite. Okay. So this has to go together. You got the key. All right, here we go. I got it backwards. There we go. We had something going. All right, let's get it back together right. So you have to keep it down here. You don't have a whole lot of room. That's what was throwing me off. slide that gear on. Okay. So the next gear, again, you have an offset side. So that offset side will go to the rear of the gearbox. Yep. First one on backwards. Yep. Now put it on backwards. Alright, so now when you put these together, you kind of have to work them down as you go. What I try to do is I try to leave just enough room to put one gear on as we go down this list here. Okay, so pull them down, pull them down, pull them down, pull them down, and pull them down. All right, so what we're fixing to have here though is, before we do that, let's pull these back. All right, so we're at a point to where we're going to run out of travel here. To get all the rest of the gears on, we're going to have to put them on without them fitting up until we get them all on there. Alright, so got a little rawhide hammer here to help me with persuading these gears. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to turn this thing around. Lose everything. Now I can work on it a little bit better. All right, so okay, let's put a few more on here. You see how we keep in this gap? That's why we have to turn the gears in a certain way. They have a flange. These actually have a flange on them that lets you know which way. Okay, there we go. Alright guys, so we've got all the gears on this side in place. So now we just need to slide them up. Find the one that hadn't started on it. Okay. Slide them up. Just have to keep working them one at a time. Okay, we have a little bushing that needs to go in here. And I'm going to mark that keyway on this bushing. It's got to fit just right. guys, so here's what we got. We have a bushing here, and it's got to line up with the oil hole. So looks good. Okay, on the other side, we have a flange here that does the same thing. Now it's got to line up. Alright, that gear can come back out. I wasn't sure. Same thing. We got to Alright guys, so I've got you around here on the front of the machine, and I got a camera sitting back here looking at the spur gear, at the gears. So we've got it all together. I put all this together off camera. It was aggravating, and it wasn't a good video of it, except for me, you know, getting fed up with it. Plus I had something I had to go do, and so I just went ahead and knocked it out. But anyway, I wanted to show you how the gearbox works. Here's your input shaft. Now the input shaft is driving, there's a gear that runs, a drive gear that runs all the way through that housing. I don't know if you can see that or not underneath there. But that drives this little gear here. So you have the long gear driving this gear. Alright. And then when you want your feeds, come up and put your gear shifter in position, and right now we're on the third gear, so 1, 2, 3. So we're in this gear here, and the input shaft drives the feed screw, the feed rod, and the lead screw. So presently we are in. Okay, so kind of give an example how it works. Shift out, slide down, kind of like any other one. You got to get it in the right spot, and then that's a faster feed. Okay. All right, so we got that. All right, guys, we're back, and what we're about to do here is you can get some glasses on. We're going to, this thing has, I don't know, 30 old locations on it. And so what we're about to do is we're going to make, let me go get one. Okay guys, so here is the oilers. And like I said, there's probably 30. They screw in, you twist them and open them up, and this one's painted open. Anyway, you get the idea. Shoot some oil in there, and it goes down to the bearing and lubricates it. So I got to work on those. But what I want to do is I have some felt here. Okay, got it from McMaster Car. I use it to on the hacksaw, and I got a little punch. And what we're going to do is we're going to punch out some felt. Okay. We got a little felt ball here. All right. So we're going to take this felt and we're going to fill these oil reservoirs with felt. And what that'll do is that will allow us to, when we oil it, it'll retain some oil. And you're all over the place. It'll let it retain some oil so it can stay lubricated. Also, it won't just run out. So, no, that one broke. Let's try another one here. So we just got to fill all these little oil reservoirs with oil. Now, one of the cool things about this lathe, every one of these shafts have a hole drilled in them, and then they have a little channel to let the oil run through. None of them are drilled in line with the oil hole. It's like quarter of the hole. I guess that was a way for it to just keep it from running out. I don't know. But every one of them is like that. So we're just going to continue putting this felt in here, and we'll fill them all up. Got that one, got that one, got that one. This one right here. All right, guys, so I think that'll be a wrap. And all right, guys, we got the gearbox back together. Not only on a couple dozen more sub-assemblies and a couple hundred more parts to clean, and we'll have this lathe put back together. Anyway, it's been fun. I've been concentrating on this for the past couple of weeks. Hadn't put out a whole lot of videos. Kind of got carried away with all the really old rusty machines that I had in the shop, and then I'm trying to focus back on what I need to do here. Anyway, like I said, look for more to come. Gearbox back together. I don't know what'll be next. Maybe the tailstock. I got plans to make a new ram or a new quill, and with a number 4 Morse taper in it. So look forward to seeing that. Look forward to doing it. I want to thank all my subscribers. Without you, it wouldn't be no use in doing this. I'd still be rebuilding machinery but not making the videos. I want to thank all my new subscribers. Welcome, and hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. Guys are leaving comments. I appreciate the comments, and keep them coming. And I guess that's it. So, from the Backyard Machine Shop, so long.